Happy New Year, everyone. I am so excited to be kicking off this new year with all of you. My goal for this year is to just share freely because I have so much wisdom that God has given me that I have learned over the past 10 years of coaching and my lifetime, right? Wisdom is such a beautiful thing, and we don't know what we don't know, and we figure things out through experience. And it's one of the things that I love that teaches me. And experience isn't always easy because it can be hard and heavy, right? 50% of our life is, or our thoughts are negative and 50% positive. And so when we think about that in the world, it's like we always get confused, like, right, why does this hard thing happen to me? But this is life. So when doubt shows up, when fear shows up, we get to say, oh, hello, I knew you'd be here, right? Because I'm doing something new and I'm doing something different. And so I want you to just welcome in that experience. And when something hard happens in your life, say, wow, what is this teaching me? What am I learning here? And so today I want to talk about choosing a word of the year. Number one, why I choose it, why you should choose one, and what do you do with it? How do you choose it? What in the world do you even do with it? So I've been choosing a word of the year for the past 5 or 6 years, and it's been so intentional. I would say probably 8 years, actually. 2027, back in 2027, my word was recover, because at the end of 2027, I'm like futuristic. Back in 2017, my word of the year was recover, because in 2026, at the end of that year, those of you who know me remember I had a really challenging back issue. I was 29 years old and 2 doctors said, hey, you need back surgery. And having been a nurse who worked workers' comp and saw so many failed back surgeries, I was like, no, not happening. So I healed myself through mindset, menu, and movement. And that word for 2017 was recover. So I want to share with you again why it's important to choose a word, why I do it, how you choose it, and then what do you do with it, right? Because we can get all excited and we can set goals and we can choose words and we can have affirmations and it can look so pretty, but then we don't actually use it. So I'm going to teach you that today. This is something I've been teaching my clients for years, and I'm sharing it here with the world today. So number one, why would you choose a word of the year? I like to call this practice activation. Now, some people think that when something is hard, or when they want to change something like a habit, or when they want to let go of something, like it has to be monumental, right? It has to be perfect. I have to have the perfect circumstance. I have to have I have to buy something new. I have to make it big and bright and shiny. And the way I teach women to change their lives is by activating. The very first book that changed my life in personal development was by Andy Corr, and it's called Change Your Day, Not Your Life. Because I ran around all the time just trying to change my whole life. And I'm just going to ask you guys, like, what happens when you do that? When you try to stack, new habit on new habit, on like, oh my gosh, all this stuff is falling apart in my life and I'm going to change it all on Monday morning, right? It usually doesn't go very well. And then you get frustrated. Then there's shame and guilt and it just builds up. So by choosing a word, by choosing a focus, and I'm someone who needs focus, because you guys, I got a lot of ideas and they're running rampant. My strategic operations partner, Jill, I said, welcome to my brain. Bless her heart. She continues to just lead me through things and help me strategize as I continue to work. All of my strategists have helped me with that. And so I appreciate them so much, because I'm a dreamer. I'm a visionary. I have lots and lots and lots of ideas, and having a focus is important for me. And I know that it's important. So that's why one of the reasons I choose a word. And so choosing a word helps you activate. Now, when I use the word activate, this is what I teach. It's a membership that I have where I help women activate in a matter of minutes, in a matter of seconds, by doing something simple, saying a word, looking at a word, snapping your fingers, putting on certain glasses, like taking a step, right? And it's so beautiful when we can just activate in a matter of seconds. It doesn't have to be perfect to change our life, and it doesn't have to take forever. And we have to remember that instead of changing our whole life, we're just going to change this minute. We're going to change this thought. We're going to change what happens in the next hour versus trying to tackle it all, because you will never get it all done. There will always be things that you can do and improve on, and that you just will have. Right? You will never, not everything will always always be perfect for you. So you can let go of that and you can just choose to activate in the moment to help you shift your thought, because your thoughts create your results. And so if you want a result or if you want to change a habit, it starts with your thought. So you have to learn how to activate that first, how to shift that thought first. So that's why I choose a word, and that's why you should too, because it's a very easy activation. Now, many people are like, oh my gosh, what if I choose a word and then I don't connect with it in 2 months? Right? Perfectionists, right? You're like, well, what if I choose the wrong word? Or what if something changes? Some people choose a word every quarter. Some people choose a word every day. Some people choose a word every month. Like whatever you want to do, just make a decision. Show yourself that you can make a decision, right? Because that's what happens too, is we get into analysis paralysis. So show yourself that you can make a decision by choosing a word. And if it feels safer for you, just say, hey, I'm going to let this word guide me for this week. I'm going to let this word guide me for this day, for this month, whatever you want to do, if that feels safer for you until you can get up into the place that supports you. Okay. So what I want you to do is just reflect on this. If you have never heard of choosing a word to lead you in the year or the month or the day, like, I don't want you to be like, oh, I have to choose one right now. No, like just start to sit with it. And as you walk through your days, you'll start to notice things about maybe why that word is most important for you. And so I want you to think about that when you're choosing your word. Are you choosing a word because you're struggling with it currently, right? Some people choose a word that maybe they want to add more of in their life, or maybe they want to be more intentional about, or maybe people choose a word because they want to manifest more of it. Do you want more of this thing? Or maybe you want less of it. And so when you see it, you get to remind yourself that that's not what I'm choosing right now. Right. And then why is it important for you? Because your word will be most important for you. It might be meaningless to someone else. So here's what I do is I just start thinking about, and I give myself a couple days. I haven't actually landed on the word that I'm going to choose this year, but I've got lots of options and I'm going to share those with you and why. And what I want you to do is when you choose a word, I want you to, number one, know your definition of it. Because the dictionary definition is often different than your thought, your definition about it. So that's very important, right? I'll never forget this. I had a client once who said, I want to be skinny. And I was like, have you ever looked that word up in the dictionary? And skinny actually means like malnourished. And so I just want you to define the word, like you have your own definition. And then I want you to look up the actual definition on Google or wherever you get your definitions from. And then say, oh, because here's the thing. Someone may say the word intentional or fearless or recover. And every single person, unless you have a dictionary in front of you, every single person might have a different adjective or a different word to describe that. So this has to be yours, right? And it gets to be yours. So when I choose a word or when I'm considering a word, I look at the dictionary definition of it. And then I'm like, and this is my definition, and they can be different. They can be totally different. Whatever helps you shift your thought in a way that supports you to the results that you desire, that's gold. That is gold. So I want you to do that. So I want you to think about, am I choosing a word because I want to let go of something, because I'm struggling with something currently? Is it because I want to manifest more of this? And then I want you to know, why is it important for you? And then you're going to sit down and say, oh, what's my definition? And what is the actual dictionary definition? Now, I have had a word on a ring. My previous coach, Jess, and friend Jess, she started doing this for me and her clients. And now I do it for my clients. And it's so, so special. So it's just a ring. You can get them on Etsy for like $10. You can choose your color and you can put what word you want on it. And I keep it right here on my index finger so I can see it. I actually, you know what I did? I put the 3 rings that I own because I've been doing this practice for 3 years. And I just put on my finger yesterday when I was looking for them, and I just have kept them on there. So in 2023, my word was intentional. In 2024, last year it was nourish. Wait, 2024, 2 years ago, I can say that now, it was nourish. Nurture. because I had come into contact with a lot of people, and it was just my time to nurture those relationships. And in 2025, my word was cherish. So every time I looked at my finger, every time my ring tapped something, every time um, I just like, maybe flexed my finger, did something, I got to see that word and it helped me activate. So, what do you do with your word when you have it, right? You can put it on a sticky note. You can make a ring with it. Some people write their word on their hand like throughout the day, or some people tattoo their word on their hand if you're into that sort of a thing. You can write it on your water bottle. You can put it on the back screen of your phone. I definitely have an affirmation on my back screen. It says, "This is only the beginning." And that's an activation for me every time I look at my phone, to say like, there's no final version of my life or business. And it helps me like just let go of the scarcity and fear, if I'm feeling any of that, to say like, oh, you got to get it all done right now. It's like, oh, this is only the beginning. Only the best is yet to come. You can use it in passwords. I'm not telling you what passwords to use, but like my word of the year, a lot of times in the past, before I got my ring, I would put it in my passwords. And so do something extraordinary with it. Put it in places where you see it. Maybe you can make something custom with it. Again, something as simple as like writing it on your water bottle, something that you see every single day. So in 2017, my word was recover. And then I know that in 2022, my word was genuine, and then intentional, nurture, and cherish. And some of the words I'm considering for this year, after just reflecting on it and bringing it to mind, like what word is going to lead me through this year, those words have been trust, surrender, speed of joy. And it can be a phrase. It doesn't have to be a word. It can be a phrase in your name, right? Because I do all things in the Lord's name. And then I was at Mass this morning. My husband and I went to Mass this morning, and something just kept coming to me, and it was the phrase, "Is it true?" Because I don't know if has anyone ever read the book by Byron Katie, Loving What Is? So she has this process that's so beautiful, that when we have a thought, because most of us think that our thoughts are facts, right? If I'm like, oh, I suck at this, right? Like I start to believe this as a fact if I were to say that, right? Because I'm human and it's my thought. And so, but we get to question our thoughts. If you're not questioning your thoughts, if you're not talking to yourself more than you're listening to yourself, please start doing that first, right? And maybe the word is question, right? And this isn't like combative and debatable. This is like, I had a thought and I'm just going to say, is that true? And then Byron Katie's second question is it really true? Because our brains and our bodies are going to want to say, well, of course it's true, because I made this up. It's my thought. Of course it's true. And so that phrase just kept coming to me, right? And we can question all of our thoughts, and not as like a derogatory or like shame or guilt. It's just, we get to see all angles of things. And if you're not looking at all angles of things, then you're missing out, because there's so much potential and capability. And I wrote this down the other day. This was an affirmation that connected with me so much. I trust the process of life. All I need is always taken care of. I am safe. I am peaceful with life. It is with flexibility and ease that I see all sides of an issue. There are endless ways of doing things and seeing things. And when you know that, like, you just feel much safer, right? Because you can see those possibilities. And this came up. I shared that with my amplifiers the other day, because we were reflecting on the past year. And I said, what's something that you became very aware of this year that you hadn't been? And one of them said, well, I became very aware that I don't like to hear no. And I'm just curious, do you like to hear no? Does anyone like to hear no? Is anyone like, yes, I got to know? Now we can train our brains to be like that. We can say like, yes, I got to know, I'm moving on to the next yes, right? Like that's a thought shift that we can have. But most of us, because of the way we've grown up, because of our thoughts that are deep inside, we say, if someone tells us no, it just like, it can make us just kind of bristle up a little bit. So when we know that about ourselves, we can say like, oh, what can I learn from the no's? How can I grow from the no's? How many no's can I hear? Because every no that I hear means that I'm getting closer to a yes. And so I want you to just think about those things. So in a nutshell, I encourage you to choose a word, and I'd love for you to just comment what your word is. I'd love to support you. I've had my group, the Midlife Womenpreneur Success Community. It used to be back in 2017, it used to be called Be Better Than You Were Yesterday. And every year we've chosen a word in there. And I love to hear what those women's words are. I love to support them with it. So if you're not a part of that group, let me know and I'll be sure to get you access to that. Because it's an amazing space to just be supported and encouraged. But drop your word below, message it to me. I want to hear what it is. And once I officially choose my word, I'll be sure to let you know. But again, a few that I'm considering are trust, surrender, speed of joy. I want to live my life at the speed of joy in your name. And then is it true? And that, again, that's just an anchor for me to, like, anytime I'm having a thought run rampant, I can just be like, oh, is that true? And I ask myself those things, but how beautiful is it when you just get to remind yourself even more? And then charity. So I'd love to hear from you what your word is. And then when you have a word that you're like, oh, this word really connects with me, define it. Define it for yourself and then look up the definition, because maybe the definition you're like, oh yeah, that's not what I thought that word meant at all. And then keep it close, review it, put on a sticky note, put it in places you will see it, write it on your water bottle. Terry says acceptance. I love it. What an incredible word and anchor and way to activate. So I want to hear from you. And I love you guys so much. I just am praying for you all and wish the best and biggest blessings for you this year. Just open your heart to receive that and give yourself the gift of a word this year. I'm thinking about intentional. I love that word. That was my word in 2023. And so, yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. And just know that, like, I'm just going to try this word on for a few months and see how it supports me. And that's the most beautiful gift you can give, is just helping yourself one day at a time, execute, thrive. Awesome. I'm loving these words. Keep them coming, ladies. I'm so excited for you and what's to come in 2026. Love you so much.